Hello Facebook, I believe we're live. I was going to do a little stint going, hey, we're crossing live and have these ferns coming up. Because you're actually sitting in a pot plant because I forgot my tripod at home. So we are crossing live from Adelaide, Business South Australia on Let's Talk About Ice tonight. Yes, 7 p.m. I know, sorry, we're a little bit late, but that's typical. And are we having technical problems? No? Great. Awesome. And we are at Business South Australia. We have beautiful offices here. They are our partners in Adelaide, as well as some special guests that I'll introduce very, very shortly. So we have had a fabulous time here in Adelaide. We've done some radio, some newspaper, radio again. So there's a lot been going on. But most importantly, we've come down here to bring the community together to action. To form a community ice action team in the Northern Rivers area of Adelaide. Northern Rivers? Northern region, Northern Metro area of Adelaide, and we will be rolling out Australian Anti-Ice campaign programs, including education in the schools and community forums, and our art competition and our walk against ice. But so look out for some news in relation to that on our web page, our events section, and our Facebook page. And if you are from Adelaide, we're going to be speaking to you today. There will be a call to action for you to become involved in the community ice action team that we are putting together. So if you are from Adelaide, please stay tuned and take a listen to what we've got to say today, because there's an incredible movement here to help us put the freeze on ice in Adelaide. And you can be part of that movement, you can be part of that change. So we are here in Adelaide. It's not too cold, it's been awesome. So if you're out there, send me some love and some kisses on the screen so I can know that you're there and that you care. Awesome. Tonight we're going to have Grantley on the show. We're going to have to leave that to a later time. There's a lot happening. People are helping people out of ice addiction and creating pathways into recovery. So he got stuck out there helping somebody. So we will be having that conversation at a later stage. But that gives us the privilege and honour to have an amazing person on the show today. And we're here to speak to one of our partners. So Sharon is going to share with you today a little bit about what Northern Carers Network do. They do amazing work here throughout Adelaide in the Northern region, and we are partnering with the Northern Carers Network to deliver a collaborative approach with the community in relation to this ice problem and how we can tackle this. And we're just really, really blessed, Sharon, by your partnership and by the hearts within your Carers Network. The heart of the people, I could really feel the heart of the people today when we came in to share a bit about what we do. And you guys work front line. I don't know, but perhaps you want to tell people at home a little bit about what Northern Carers Network do.
Yes, happy to. Yeah, absolutely. So at Northern Carers, we're here predominantly to support anyone in the family or community who might be looking after another family member who has some sort of illness or disability, whether it be mental health or a physical disability, or they might be looking after someone who's a partner or a friend, or someone who's had dementia, memory loss, Parkinson's, they might be frail because of their age, or they might have a chronic condition. So pretty much the unpaid family person who's in a caring role, they're our core business is to support that part of they're those people in the families. And they are, there's the role that carers pay is pretty much estimated that they save the government something like $64 million every year nationally. So if you calculate the number of hours that go into that caring role, it's quite a huge amount if you want to put a dollar value to the role carers play.
That's amazing, Sharon. And it's quite there's a lot of people, a lot of volunteers working together.
We have a lot of volunteers, yes.
And, just chatting to some of the people today, they're all soft-hearted people, and they have seen ice come in to communities throughout Adelaide and really do some damage to families, Sharon.
Absolutely. It's really sad to see and also to hear that increasingly I am becoming more aware of the carers and our staff at Northern Carers who have got family members and other people they're connected to have had some association or connection with this ice, and it's actually having quite an impact. And now that you've come out and we're talking about it, even today I've learnt of 2 new people who've come to me and said what's going on in their families.
Wow.
And I've been working with them for quite a long time and I have no idea.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot more of it going out there than we realise that are connected to the people we're working with.
Absolutely, and it's such a taboo. You know, people don't often come out and say, hey, you know, I'm struggling with ice addiction, or my son is, or my husband is. It's something that we don't really talk about, and we need to talk about it. So we're here to talk about ice tonight. So if you are a family member that is struggling with a loved one that's in ice addiction, we want you to reach out because we want to help you. Yeah, we have family support groups throughout Adelaide, Victoria, Queensland, and they are trained to actually support you. They have had lived experience, and they can assist you with this issue, and help to create some boundaries for you, and maybe give you some tools to be able to help your loved one, so that we can engage with them to create a pathway into recovery. And that's the aim of that, of some of what we do. So the number to call, if you are a family member and you're struggling with a loved one that's in addiction and you'd like some support, that number is 0481 844 555. Now that is a national number. We will connect you with your state office, and there will be people there to be able to help you. Alternatively, you can message us right now on the show. If you send us a private message, we'll be able to connect you with somebody that can give you support. Or on our website, www.australianantiicecampaign.org.au, and there's a live chat section there. Just reach out and say, hey, look, I need some help, and we really want to connect you with your community. And that's what this meeting was about today, Sharon. You know, we're so grateful for the partnership with Northern Carers and Business South Australia, and to be able to, to move forward together with the community. It was amazing to see. We had, hospital frontline staff, we had ambulance staff, we had community elders and leaders in the community, the council, and it was great to see everybody would like to unite in the fight and do something proactive. We know we have a problem in Australia. What are we actually doing about it? We need to do something different, and the only way we're going to do that is to unite and to bring forward an approach that has already worked. AARC's program is based on a program that has been run in America over 10 years throughout 8 states, dramatically reducing ice use from 8.2% to 2.2% in 6 years. So it really has dramatically been of good effect, and so it's not rocket science to us. If that's worked, let's implement it. Let's make it work in Australia, because we are the highest ice users per capita in the world. So we've got to do something different, and we're really, really stoked by the amount of people putting their hand up to help. So if you are in Adelaide and you are wanting to change the influence of ice in your community for your kids, for your kids' kids, for your nieces, for your nephews, you don't know who is going to confront tomorrow, and it could be you. So I didn't certainly expect. You don't start out life thinking, I'm going to become a drug addict. I was a business person and, doing life quite well. But I didn't know what was before me, and I decided to have a try of this thing that you smoke. No big deal, it wasn't going to happen to me. I wasn't going to get hooked. But it almost killed me, and this is how it happens. It sneaks its way in. Your child could be at a party. Your grandchild could be at a party, and they could pass around a pipe. They don't know what it is. Oh, it's not that white thing that was on the news. It was a blue thing or a yellow thing or something that they call strawberry quick. It's not even called ice or rock, or shards. It's not ice. You don't know. Our future generation need to be educated, and it needs to be educated by people who have gone through that and that have had lived experience. They are trained to come in and to actually share this message with people in the community, and we are so excited to be able to do that with the community here in Adelaide. Sharon, what are some of the I know that in Queensland Queensland government have hired another 400 child safety workers to take 486 unborn meth babies of families, and we're seeing more and more of that every day. We work with carers in Queensland who have been on our show as well, and they're devastated to see these little babies and little kids with the side effects of detoxing off ice.
It's terrible.
And I would imagine the carers here would be seeing the same thing.
More than likely.
And the impact of that on somebody watching that take place is
pretty
devastating.
sad. Very devastating. It would be. I would imagine so.
And are you seeing that kind of stuff? What are you hearing in the community here?
We heard today stories of this type of thing. It's impacting quite significantly, probably our Aboriginal elders and Aboriginal communities.
Yes.
Fear very much that their loved ones, their children are taking this stuff, but then their grandchildren are the ones who are really going to get impacted by it.
Yes.
And so, already our Aboriginal communities are suffering a lot of inherited or generational grief and loss.
Yes.
And now we've got the complication of drugs, which are making, impacting even worse. So it is pretty devastating. We've got a very vulnerable community out there, and Northern Carers will do anything and everything that we can to work with everybody else who is prepared to support this cause, to really make an impact and stop it, to educate people, so that people have an educated choice rather than just fall into it, like you've already explained.
And that's how easy it happens. People you don't set out, that's what I want to become an ISAC for the rest of my life. They don't understand the consequences, and I heard that today, Sharon. I heard those families hurting, and it's very, very real. Once they are entrapped in addiction, it's extremely difficult to actually get that person that's addicted out. It's the pathway is possible, but it's hard work. Our aim with Australian Anti-Ice Campaign is to stop people actually engaging in that. Not even once is our message. Don't go there. Does this sound like fun to you? Living in a torment, living in a life that you're entrapped by a drug that you need like you need air, and that becomes your whole life. We want people to know the truth about this drug the minute you say yes to it. Along the way, obviously, we help people that are entrapped in addiction to create that pathway out, and we hope to work with those communities. Some of our presenters here are really keen to work with the Indigenous community, to help, to be of support there, and we can use our knowledge and what we've been through, to help others.
Absolutely.
But the next generation, the question raised, if when we're sharing, how hard is it going to be for the youth that go home to families that are using?
It impacts on the whole family.
It does. But
and every family.
We have to talk about it. If we don't talk about it and we expose it for what it is, we can't break it apart and take the stigma out of it, and but we can't pretend it didn't happen. We can't pretend that that's not going on. We actually need to face it, and we need to work with what is truth in love, from a place of love. So we have training available, guys. If you're interested in some training about how you can have a conversation with somebody that might be entrapped in addiction, how to have that conversation, what to say, what does the cycle of addiction look like, why is my loved one behaving in this way, and what happens to the brain, and what's the costs versus the benefits analysis that you can actually show them, and get some tools. We have this training available on our webpage. That's www.australianantiicecampaign.org.au. It's called SAMI, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Intervention. It's put together by our Optimal Health Group. It is a 2-hour training, and it is invaluable information that if you're a community leader, you're somebody in the community, you see somebody that's entrapped in addiction, what do you say? What do you do? How do you help? And this training, Sharon, is surrounded to give you people out there, the common person like me, like you, the tools to be able to have that conversation and know what to do next. And that's so important. I think that people in our community, what we've seen in the past is that people get scared to have that conversation, and they often, and I did it myself before I even became, a drug addict. I was, doing well in life, and I didn't understand. I'd never touched drugs. You just don't touch drugs. You just don't do that. And so I would say, get them away from you. Get them out of your life. Just leave them. Go into hiding. I didn't understand that there's still that person in there, Sharon, and that person needs help. They are entrapped. Specifically with ice, no drugs are good, and it inhibits the brain, and it causes the person to behave in ways and alter their behaviour in a negative way. But specifically ice hijacks the frontal lobe of the brain, and very, very quickly the drug becomes in charge and not the user. And people behave in ways that they wouldn't normally do. The chemical imbalance in the brain, the serotonin levels in the brain are depleted, and they then behave in an erratic, irrational behaviour. So, do you want some water?
I'll be fine, thank you.
Well, it's the air conditioning in here, guys. It's a bit dry. So that was the conversation that we were having today, and we did see a lot of families hurting, and a lot of families not saying, what do we do from here? What we're doing is not working. We're seeing a continued rise in issues to do with ice, and we need to do something really impactful, something different, something truthful, and we need to get these communities to come and talk to somebody that's been in ice addiction, and that's where it's at.
Absolutely.
So how do you think we're going to start doing some work in the northern region of Adelaide?
Yep.
What are the suburb names again that we're going to look at?
Go in the city of Playford.
Yep.
So the whole council area of Playford, the city of Salisbury. We're looking at Gawler. Yep. And Port Adelaide, possibly Tea Tree Gully. Awesome. So the northern metropolitan part of Adelaide, definitely.
Fantastic.
And the schools.
Yes.
Also maybe Playford International School might like to have some of your team to come and talk to the kids.
Absolutely.
I think it's really important that these kids get the information early.
Yeah, especially now, guys. We are in November. We are heading into Christmas holidays. My question to you is, the school is coming up. There's, parties. Is your child protected? Yeah. Lobby to your school. Hit up your school. Say, look, these guys are doing this. Can you bring them in, please? My child is at risk over the holidays. You don't know who's going to approach your kid. You want to inform them and get them educated with the information they need to make the right choices when that time comes. And that time will come, because ice is out there and it's being handed out to girls as a sample pack. Try this. You're going to feel, you're going to have superhuman strength, and you're going to be tough. And it's not really what happens. It's not what happens at all, really, Sharon. And we really want to come out to your school and to be able to educate, your students and your children from lived experience. That's the best education that we can give them. So, okay. Oh, the police and ambulance. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. St. Paul Community Constables were there today.
Yep.
Really, really passionately keen to work together to combat this ice in our communities. Ambos were there, definitely. We had Alex Coates from John G's office in the department, so he was there. So we've got the politicians. We've invited the councils to be part of this whole collaboration and project. So it's pretty fantastic, yeah. Salisbury Council were there today, very passionate as well.
And I think they were all there, Sharon, because they're seeing what we're doing is not really shaking it. It's not really moving.
It's not cutting it really, is it?
We have drug education. We've heard this sometimes in school. We have drug education. Great. Is it working for you? Are you sure your youth are protected? Have they asked the hard questions? Do they really understand? And then I start talking about, do they understand what ice looks like? Do they know that it's called shards and rock and strawberry quick? And do they know that it comes crushed, and that it comes in lolly looking like tablets, and that it's laced, ice is being laced marijuana is being laced with ice. Do they know all this stuff? And then they go, oh, well, no, they don't. I didn't know that. Great, can we come and talk to your kids, please? You know, and that's where it's at. And our presenters are trained, guys. They have had 12 months recovery. They have been trained with dual diagnosis. They do induction. They get blue carded and police checked, and they come into the classroom with the teachers all the time. But they have a conversation that nobody else can have because it's from a different perspective. Our opening line is, you know, we're not your teachers, we're not your parents, we're not even here to tell you not to do drugs. And they go, oh, I'm listening. But we're here to show you some stuff that we wish was shown to us because we didn't have the privilege of knowing this. See, the pipe didn't come to us with a label on there saying ingredients or side effects. And some of the consequences that some of these presenters are wearing are lifelong, and they can't take that back. But we can certainly make that difference to tomorrow's generation, and that's what we aim to do, to stop people actually crossing that line to trying ice even once. Yeah. Do we have any questions out there? How are police and ambulance affected? Do you want to answer that, Sharon?
Well,
they were talking a little bit about that today.
They talked a little bit about today. I think they are right at the brunt of the aggression.
Yes.
Some of the abuse, and when you're obviously in that, you don't really realise what you're doing to the people who are actually there to help you.
Yes.
So they are obviously extremely well trained.
You see before you today, it was you know, taken over, or the frontal lobe was hijacked, and they were acting on the animal instinct and the animal brain. And most of the time, those people are in paranoia and psychosis. I remember, you know, the government were chasing me, and I thought, you know, I had to block the windows out, and that there were cameras in the trees, and that they were following me, and I thought everyone was after me. And you know, I could just imagine if the police got hold of me. Oh my goodness, I would have, you know, fought for my life. And that's the kind of thing, you know, that happens inside somebody's brain. But we're actually able, in a forum, to explain what happens, and it opens up a whole new level of understanding for frontline workers to be able to engage in helping that person instead of condemning them. And that makes the world a difference. We want to offer tools to the frontline workers to be able to sit and have that conversation with people that are in addiction, and to be able to call AARC in and call some of our people who have recovered and say, hey, come and have a chat to this guy. He's been to prison, or he's had a brain hemorrhage because of this drug. Will you have a conversation with them? And when they understand where they're going, perhaps we can make a pathway into recovery. You know, you can't make a person step into recovery, but we can certainly put everything before them to be able to enable them to do. And the success rate of AARC doing that today is extremely high. You know, we've been able to sit with a lot of people and to show them what's about to happen to their life if they continue going down that path. And they look at us like, hope, maybe I can because you did. And that's exactly the information we share with them. And we can show them how to do that, hey? And it starts with, here's a phone number. Let's call them now. You know, let's go to an NA meeting. You know, let's engage now, not tomorrow. You know, let's do that now, and befriending that person till they can think by themselves again. Yeah. So we do a lot of work.
The AMBOs who were there today stated that they would really like to get some workshops happening from you guys to their staff. So I think there will be some of that happening with exactly what you're saying, so that the frontline people do get a good understanding and good education of what it is from the person's side who is actually in that situation.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think too with the carers, you know, I look forward to providing some training for the carers to be able to have that conversation with somebody in addiction. You know, they're seeing that all the time. How do you deal with it? What is that conversation? And having a holistic approach to recovery, understanding the holistic approach to recovery, you know, treating recovery in just the physical isn't going to work. You're not going to get a complete recovery. You know, we are three-part being. You know, we're spirit, soul, and body. And we need to look at recovery in that fashion. We can't just go, okay, well, you physically, you know, you're not detoxing anymore, you're not having tremors, you're not sweating, you know, your bloods are okay, you're all right now, see you later, out the door. It doesn't work like that. We need to actually look at the underlying issues underneath addiction. We need to look at all the trauma. You need to break that down. You need to do that with people who are trained to do that. They are drug and alcohol counsellors. A lot of the ones that we engage with and we refer to people who come to us are lived experience counsellors. They know what it's like to be there, but they've had the training to be able to help somebody else through that journey. Our buddies do a great job at connecting the people in addiction to the counsellors and to the NA groups and to support services, and we walk with them in the early stages. But we can't be there forever because there's so many people out there needing help. How many rehabs do we continue to open? That is the question. There's not enough rehabs out there to service the problem.
That's right. There's no rehabs in the northern region of Adelaide, Northern Metro.
Wow.
And it's been asked for many, many years now. A detox rehab, some sort of centre where people can actually go, rather than people get in trouble with the police, end up in a cell where they're not going to get the understanding and the support that they need. It's a real issue.
So we may want to talk to to government and talk to the local community about in putting a place like that together. A rehab
that would be a
for that
fantastic
region.
outcome for the north if we could. If something could happen, something could be developed yet.
And a detox. There's so very few detoxes around Australia, and the truth is you can't go into a rehab until you've visited a detox. And detox off ice, it's incredibly, almost impossible. It's extremely difficult.
Right.
Why do you have to detox first?
Oh, okay. So when you the rehab won't take you if you still have substance in your body. So why you have to detox? Well, you still, the chemical imbalance and the psychosis and the anger and the violence is at high levels. So when you sleep and your body shuts down for 4, 5, 7 days sometimes, depending on the length of your detox, you then can be administered medication to slower your heart rate and to sedatives to help you through the early stages of recovery. And it's just too dangerous in the first few. If you're not in a detox under care, under medical supervision, it can be quite dangerous and taxing on your heart and on your physical body. So detox is extremely important that you do that with some support. If you are detoxing at home, I work with a few people that I'm working with a few people that are in detox at the moment. They're like, I can do detox by myself at home. I've done it before. It is dangerous, so I do encourage people to, if you plan to do that, go and see your GP. Get the support of your GP. Let them monitor you, daily, if not every second day, through the early stages of your detox. It is really important that you're safe, because ice specifically, it does raise your blood pressure. Your heart pounds extremely fast. It damages your liver and your kidneys, and it's a synthetic drug, guys. So it's in your body somewhere, apart from the damage that it does to the brain, to the neurological pathways in the brain, and the chemical imbalance does happen in the brain. You just need to be monitored and do that safely. That's all we ask, I'd love to see like a detox rehab, combination here. But the question again lies: how many of them do we keep opening? Our plan is to put people on a tripod system of support, which was how I recovered. I didn't go into rehab. I was organically put onto a tripod system of support, and I was taken to a counsellor, and I had a support person who became my buddy and rang me every day and said, come on, we're going to go out and help Mrs. Jones today. And I'd be like, I want to die today, I can't do life anymore. And my buddy would say, you're not going to die today, Andrea, die tomorrow. Today we're going to go and help Mrs. Jones because she really needs us. And he'd drag my butt out of bed, and he'd say, come on, and I'd do it, kicking and screaming and crying. Church community loved me back to life unconditionally. They didn't judge me, they just wanted to love me. And I was accepted. So it was the group therapy, whether it's a church, NA, CMA, AA. It's a group of people that will love you, that you can, be amongst, that are healthy, that are healthy in their thought process and their communication, and they can understand that, you're not well at the moment, let me help you, let me cook for you. You're sick today, you don't have clothes, that's fine, I've got heaps, let me share with you. You don't have a bed to sleep in, hey, Tom over here has a room that you can go and sleep in tonight, or has a place that will help you out for a while. And that's what community is about, and that's what a church should be about, and that's certainly what I experienced in a church. I'm not talking about religion here, guys. I'm talking about a church community with spiritual grounding. Where love comes first. And that is what's important, whether you get that in NA or a church group. But that tripod system of support is really important. I hope you're hearing me here, guys. Step 1, drug and alcohol counsellor. Okay, somebody preferably with lived experience. Number 2, group therapy. Okay, NA, CMA, a church is ideal. Number 3, a buddy or a sponsor. So you can't do this alone. Okay, the recovery, the success rate of people stepping into recovery from ICE, the success rate is minimal. But if you have support, get as much support as you can, and you can get through it. I'm living proof. All of our presenters are living proof. But it starts with a phone call. It starts with a message. And if you're that person that I'm speaking to that's entrapped in addiction, and you may be contemplating change, we are here to help, because we've been there, and it's a torment, and it's a hell of a life, to really be taken from an individual. You've been given life, and it's to live abundantly, it's to live in joy, it's to live with your family and friends, and enjoying the fruits of life, not for self-destruction. Yeah. So we're here to help, and we are so blessed to have the Northern Carers and Network and the Adelaide Business South Australia to come together and to help us implement the programs. So we have a question: how do Northern Carers Network help their 5,000 carers? Wow! Is that how many carers?
We've got 5,000 carers registered with Northern Carers.
Wow!
So we've got a huge number who know we're there. We're just a phone call away. Many carers just ring us when they need to, or they getting along with their lives, and then when they're in a point of crisis, they've got someone to ring, and they will give us a call. So a lot of our carers, all of our carers will get a newsletter. So our communication and interaction with them, for a lot of them, all they do is they receive a newsletter once a month, every 3 months, and they get information as to what's going on, what's happening in the world, and what we have to offer. We've got a telephone support team, so we've got volunteers who come into the office, and they just jump on the phone and give our carers a call.
Wow.
Particularly those who have come new to us, give them 2 or 3 follow-up calls to see, hi, how's it going? And often just a phone call is a lifeline for people in a caring role.
Wow.
So we do those types of things. We offer support groups. We've got about 25 support groups specifically for different situations that carers might be, who they, depending on the person they're caring for, what their situation is, whether it be, mental health related, memory loss related, so specific support groups for groups of carers. Very, very meaningful. Exactly what you were saying, that social interaction, that social sense of community, and being, not judged, having a safe environment where you feel you can talk your story or talk your issues and be understood.
That's awesome.
Totally understood. So a lot of our support groups provide that perfect environment for carers to feel comfortable. Many, many carers will be in a situation they're very isolated, very much alone, don't know where to turn. Have often come to us and said, why didn't we know about you earlier?
Wow.
So, those are the types of things that we do for carers. We often advertise or promote, going out for a day.
Yeah.
Just jump on the bus, first 40, 50 people who ring in and say, yes, I want to go on the outing. Then they get on the bus, contribution of $20 or whatever the cost is, and they go out for the day.
Oh, beautiful.
We will put
Get
in
some
respite. We will put in a respite worker with the person who's not well, so that the carer can go out for the day,
That's wonderful.
and they will get that break.
That's so needed in the community, and I didn't know anything like this existed. So if somebody's out there and they're a carer and they don't have any support, Sharon, where would they start? Like if they're in Adelaide and they don't have that support, is there a number they can call?
Well, they can call our office. Yes.
What's that
in
number?
the north is 8284 0388.
Awesome.
Definitely give us a call if you.
We'll put that online
Yes.
underneath this video as well, so people can reach out if you're a carer.
If you're in a caring role, yeah.
And that
And
sounds
young
amazing.
carers. I was going to say young carers.
Yeah.
So carers can be any age at any time, and it can happen overnight.
Yes.
But we've got about 250 younger people
Wow.
who are either in a caring role or a brother or sister to someone who's a carer.
Yes.
So as young as 7 we provide programs for. We've got a youth worker who works with just young carers from 7 to 18 years old, and social recreational activities. We do educational programs. We believe it, whatever your situation is very individual to you, but it impacts on the whole family. So we've quite a holistic approach to supporting carers, and we try to have a varied program because carers can be any person at any given age, or anywhere from 7 to whatever the elderly age might be. So, we work across every sector.
That's beautiful.
Mental health sector, disability sector, aged care sector.
Mm-hmm.
And we're learning a lot now about ICE and the impact that's having on our communities. And I bet you there's a lot of carers out there caring for people who are addicted to ICE and other drugs.
Yes.
And now is an opportunity for Northern Carers to partner up with you and the community to form maybe some support groups for families.
Fantastic.
Related to the situation.
That is so needed, and we look forward to doing that and establishing some family support groups within that region.
That might be a good outcome.
Yeah, for the community to be able to come, not just share with one another their trials and tribulation, what they're going through, but also to be loved on, but also to be given some tools on perhaps some things that they may not have tried, or some boundaries, training, and some.
I love the training. I love the training concept.
Yeah.
Particularly for people like me, who has been personally far removed from drugs at all. I definitely need training and knowing how to support the families of people who are impacted.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what's out there for you guys. Like if you're in the community, we're all part of this world. We can all be of use. They did some training in England, I think it was, with the cab drivers. And what they did, Sharon, was they trained cab drivers to do brief and early intervention.
Right.
So they trained them to have that first point of conversation with somebody that was struggling with addiction. So somebody would come into into their cab and they'd be intoxicated, or they would be using drugs. And that cab driver was able to have the initial conversation. And we have reports back that it worked dramatically well. That's
Fantastic.
our heart. Let's train more people in the communities to be able to be ready to be that call to action, to pull somebody and say, hey, you're struggling with addiction, and maybe what I say can help you. And they can call on ARC to actually help as well, to support that. They don't have to be the answer, but it's a matter of holding that person's hand and say, look, I think you need to speak to these guys.
Yeah.
You're not the same person that you were. I pick you up every day, or I've been watching you. You're struggling. You're not looking healthy. You're losing too much weight. Your behaviour is erratic. You're losing your business. Your car got stolen. You got bashed down the road. That's how ICE world, it snowballs. So you might be that person that is in a community and seeing this kind of behaviours, but not know what to do. So there is training around, and we really look forward to providing as much training as we can.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, do you have any more questions?
Not at this stage.
Awesome. So I'll just wait for the noise to stop a little bit. So Sharon, we're going to kick off, I believe, with a community forum that we're in the planning stages of doing.
I'm hoping that's the case. Yes.
Yep. And we will be working on that date for you. We should have something down, hopefully, or around about date by next week. and we look forward aiming to host a community forum in the Northern
Northern
District.
suburbs,
Yeah.
in Playford, probably in Playford.
Awesome.
Elizabeth, yes.
I'm still getting used to the suburb names here, but awesome town, awesome people, and we look forward to working with our Adelaide team to roll out all the programs here with you guys and see if we can be a greater good to the community here as well. So we're not going to hold you up any longer. Is there anything else, Sharon, that you want to share?
I think we've covered a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
We're very excited about our partnership and what we might be able to do, make a difference to people's lives.
Is there a web page that people can contact Northern Carers on? Is there a web
Yes,
page?
it's www.ncnw.org.au
Awesome.
would be the website.
And you can send a message down through that.
Yes, you can.
Contact.
We do have a Facebook page as well.
Yep.
And,
What's that called?
Oh, same.
Same?
Northern Carers Network.
Awesome. Like the Facebook page, guys. On Facebook.
We do NDIS.
Yes.
Yes. We actually have become, a registered provider under the NDIS.
Awesome.
So this is a fairly recent thing. Northern Carers has diversified carer support primarily, but also now we have an NDIS team who are providing a whole lot of supports around coordination supports, core supports, therapeutic supports, counselling for people with disability under the NDIS. If they come to us with a plan and if they've got some funding in their plan, they can purchase services from Northern Carers.
So what that means, guys, if you are in addiction and you are creating a pathway out, and you can go to your doctor and get a plan for some counselling under the mental health section, and you can then come and have counselling services with the NDIS. So you might be a carer for somebody that's in early stages of recovery. That may be something you want to consider the NDIS through your local doctor. That's how they get it, is it?
Well, you need to be eligible and
But would they speak to the doctor first?
You could speak to your doctor, but you don't have to. You
Okay.
can go straight to the NDIS on their website.
Okay,
And
awesome.
there's an eligibility checklist. And then you just put in submission and they'll send you a form, you fill it all out. And then you'll go through a planning process where the NDIS planners meet with you. In the northern suburbs, it could be Feros Care, who are a very strong partner with NDIS. And then they will determine whether you can access a plan or not.
Oh, awesome.
So how all that works is another big
Yeah. It's
big topic, and
Yeah.
more than happy to talk to you more about that. Just give us a call.
awesome. So there is help out there, guys, and
There is.
the Northern Carers Network do amazing work out in the Adelaide community. So if you are in Adelaide and you need some support and you're a carer, please get in touch with them. And we're really excited about what's coming up ahead with all the education and the events in the community. So please keep an eye out on our page and their page and the Business South Australia as well, because they are also joining us in the fight against ICE. And we're here to put the freeze on ice in Adelaide. So guys, thanks very much for joining us on the show tonight. Sharon, thank you so much for the amazing work that you guys do. And I got to meet Marie, the CEO, today. And
She's passionate too.
yeah, she's really
She's
passionate.
really keen.
A beautiful heart. The people at your workplace are beautiful-hearted people. They just want to help. Love what's going on here. I look forward to seeing you next week on Let's Talk About ICE. Be blessed, be safe, stay clean. Not even once. Sharon, can I teach you our not even once message?
Not even once. Go on.
Ready?
Yeah.
Not
Not
even with that hand.
this
So
one.
ready?
Not
Not even
even
once.
once.
Don't touch ice. Not even once, guys. God bless.